Good thing you bundled your home, auto, and RV insurance with Progressive. You save money, and you get round-the-clock protection.
So don't worry, it's all under control. That's cool, we'll finish up here.
Bye.
That's why you go to the restroom before the movie starts.
Get epic protection for your Dominion with Progressive.
Welcome to the final weekend of the regular season in college baseball. Tonight, it's the Alabama Crimson Tide starting a series with the Arkansas Razorbacks at Sewell Thomas Stadium. Glad to welcome you inside the broadcast booth. This is Roger Hoover alongside Lance Cormier. And Lance, so much on the line for both Alabama and Arkansas, starting with Crimson Tide trying to get back to the SEC tournament.
Yeah, the Tide have hit a slide as of late, the last probably 5 series. They were securely in the regionals. Now they're looking to get into Hoover. And you're right, they're going to need a couple wins to get into Hoover.
So the Crimson Tide right now, the number 11 seed. Arkansas, meanwhile, right now tied for the SEC West lead with Texas A&M.
Yeah, the biggest thing Arkansas is looking to do, they're looking to not only be in the top national seed, they want to be a number 8 national seed. That way they know they have a home game to get to Omaha.
For more on the Razorbacks, let's check in with our reporter, Kira Goldstein.
Yeah, as you guys mentioned, Arkansas is trying to secure that top 8 seed nationally. When we spoke to Coach Van Horn earlier this week, one of the big things that he mentioned was his non-conference midweek matchups. That has had the biggest effect on Arkansas's RPI, which currently sits at 24. And he also mentioned that his in-state non-conference matchups have some of the worst RPIs in the country. So with all of that in mind, it's going to be really important for Arkansas to win this series in order for them to secure that top 8 seed.
Thank you, Kira. We're ready for baseball. Garrett McMillan gets this game going with a strike thanks to a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Wallace, Turner, Moore due up for the Razorbacks in the first. Chop foul, 2 strikes already on Caden Wallace. Garrett McMillan primed to make his 15th start of the season, 4 wins, 4 losses for the native of Tuscaloosa, along with a 3.51 ERA. High and tight to Wallace for ball 1.
This is one of those positions that Garrett McMillan, really dreamed himself into that position. Local kid, went to Shelton State. This is the lineup he's going to have to face. Coach Dave Van Horn, 20th season. How about that, man? Okay, but this is a guy that has wanted to play at Alabama, didn't get a chance out of high school, so he goes to Shelton State, another school right down the road from where he's at. And now he's living the dream, starting Friday night for Alabama.
2-2 to Wallace. Got him swinging. Good start for Garrett McMillan.
Garrett McMillan, he's about a 6 to 8 strikeout guy a game. Right there, uses the fastball up. So I like that a lot because a lot of times he'll go to the changeup really early in the game, and that's his best pitch, his best out pitch. And so if he saves that and uses it later, that's when you're going to see him into the 7th and 8th innings.
Just missed on the first fastball to Michael Turner. Belted foul, a ball and a strike to the Razorback catcher.
A big thing that Garrett McMillan uses, the breaking ball is good. To me, he doesn't use it enough. You see right there, he got a couple swings and misses on that. But the best thing about him, the changeup, and it's devastating. And really, righties, lefties, it doesn't matter. He will throw it any count. He has the most confidence in that pitch.
Gets in front once again of a Razorback hitter. 1-2. Just fouled away as Turner sticks around.
You see right there, that's a fastball up with 2 strikes. So that's telling me as a hitter, and right now, he believes, I'm going to go after with the fastball early on right now in the game, and maybe they're thinking sit and breaking ball because they've been late on the two fastballs.
Back to the breaking ball, 2-2 to Turner. Turner's been the everyday catcher for the Razorbacks this year, the grad transfer from Kent State, where he spent the last 4 seasons. All-MAC honors 2019, He's fit in well with the Razorbacks, hitting .310. Payoff pitch. To second, Eblin's there. 2 gone. Crimson Tide defensively, a lot of speed in the outfield with Tommy Seidel, Caden Rose, and Andrew Pinckney has a really strong arm in right field. And then this infield, Lance, really makes all the plays. Just saw one from Bryce Eblin at second, but about as solid a infield core as Alabama's had. Yeah,
I mean, the team fielding .979. Like you said, Roger, a lot of speed out there. I would say maybe the three of the best outfielders you got, and especially with Andrew Pinckney, a guy that can throw anybody out. Doesn't matter, third base, home. And you're right, very solid on the infield. Maybe not like the most range you can imagine, but once they get the ball, they're going to make the strong throw and make the play.
Preseason All-American Robert Moore. Got a ball and a strike to him this season. Moore has been hitting .238 for the Razorbacks. Sticking in the third hole in the order for today's game. McMillan back in the strike zone.
Really good pitch right there, fastball in, and to me that's going to be one of his most important things he can do is to establish the inside part of the plate versus the righties and the lefties, because if he does it against the lefties, then that changeup away is really good pitch.
Got him swinging. Went back to the fastball. 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3 first for Garrett McMillan. Solid work by him. We'll see the Tide.
I love my new home, but it might be too Victorian.
Oh gosh, interesting hemline on those pants.
At least Geico makes bundling my home and car insurance easy. I save so much.
Pardon me, Your Grace.
Oh, just call me Grace.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Choosing T-Mobile is like paying for this, but getting that. And with our new Price Lock Guarantee, you won't need to worry about price hikes. Because unlike AT&T, we won't raise the price of your rate plan. Another way customers get more at T-Mobile.
Sophomore Will McIntyre earning this start on this Thursday night against the Alabama Crimson Tide. This will be his first career SEC start on the mound, but he's certainly earned this opportunity with some good numbers.
Yeah, that's the biggest part. Coach Van Horn talked about it. The guy just gets outs. The stuff is not overpowering. Fastball. Sometimes it's a cutter. Sometimes people say it's a slider. And you got to think of who they had last year. Kevin Kopps was a lot of that same thing last year. And so a changeup as well. Mixes in, maybe another overhand breaking ball, but it's a guy that's not going to overpower you, just going to go out there and get outs. And I love the part Coach Van Horn said in his call is, to me, he bet on himself. He went out there and told the coaches he wasn't getting an opportunity, said, I need more of an opportunity. They gave him a chance to start, and all he's done is put up a 1.96 ERA for him.
It's been pretty impressive for Will McIntyre. Here's the lineup he'll face for the Alabama Crimson Tide. It all begins with Caden Rose, then William Hameter is the DH tonight. Drew Williamson, Dominic Temez in those 3 and 4 spots of the order. Keep an eye out, though, for Andrew Pinckney batting in the 6th spot.
Yeah, this is a different lineup, like you said. Seeing Jarvis drop down, seeing Pinckney drop down, Rose going to the top. But I like the way the makeup is, especially how hot Rose has been. And also with Pinckney being probably right now Alabama's best hitter, you get a couple guys in front of him. That gives him a lot more RBI opportunities.
Last start was 3 solid innings for McIntyre against Missouri State back on May 3rd. Now facing Caden Rose. Rose at the top of the order for the Crimson Tide. He's reached base safely in the last 11 games, a streak that goes back to April 25th. Knocks it high to left. Gregory facing the sun. Puts it away. Looking at the Razorbacks defensively, it all starts with Gregory in left field. So he's got plenty of speed. Now William Hamner next up. Hamner still in a DH role for the Crimson Tide. He's been able to play the outfield some, played in left field last Friday against Auburn, jammed his right shoulder up against the wall in the Georgia series trying to make a catch. Since then has been slow to return, but mostly has been in the DH spot.
Well, that's the cutter right there. 85 miles an hour, stays true. The plane is not, you don't see much depth on it. You see more side to side. You saw the 79 pitch before that. That was more of an overhand curveball. Even right there, that's what you're thinking, backdoor cutter. And the scouting report is going to be predominantly cutters from him. And again, he had a guy to get a chance to watch last year, Kevin Kopps, Golden Spikes Player of the Year, and that's predominantly what he threw.
Strikes out Hamner.
Just shows you right here, you don't have to overpower guys. It's just mixing speeds, moving the ball around location, and then when you have a guy in a disadvantage count, a 1-2, 0-2 count, put the ball right behind the plate, just like he did on that breaking ball, swing right over the top.
2 away for Williamson. What makes that cutter so hard to hit?
Well, you're going up to the plate, nothing's going to be straight. Everything's going to be moving, whether it's down, whether it's side to side, and see right there, that one went straight down. The first one, the Hammer, went straight into him. So that's what you're going to see. And then you go away from a lefty right there and you give up on the pitch because you think it's away, and that ball's going to cut right back over the back part of the plate. So if home plate umpire Tyler Simpson is giving that ball away to lefties, it's going to be a long night.
0-2 to Williamson. Beats the shift into right field. 2-out single for the senior.
That's just a good piece of hitting right here by Drew Williamson. Stays back. That's the overhand curveball. Too much of the plate, and you're right, beats the shift. And Bobby Moore, second baseman, I mean, that guy has enough range. He's only got 1 error this year. They're fielding 983 as a team, second in the conference, and he is one of the best second basemen, if not in the league, but the country defensively.
And nearly 200 chances for him, only 1 error on the year. Well, Dominic Temez, Crimson Tide catcher.
One of the things I saw early on before they took batting practice, they're a team that when it's their turn to get out there, all the infielders go out there. They don't start throwing batting practice instantly. They start taking ground balls. I watched Robert Moore up the middle taking ground balls. So usually you don't see guys taking, right now he's playing directly up the middle because these teams now start to shift a lot more. And all of a sudden, you don't practice the shifts in practice. If you don't do that, then when it comes to a game time, you're not ready for it. But, boy, right before the game, they were all in different positions. It was fun to watch.
Moore keeps bouncing around pitch to pitch with Temez at the plate. Two-0. Temez in front, 3 balls, no strikes.
That's why that two-strike hit with 2 outs by Drew Williamson is so big, because what it does is right now you're 3-0. So if he comes all the way back and gets an out, you're talking he had to throw 4 or 5 extra pitches.
Four-pitch walk to Temez. McIntyre getting the first 2 outs, the single, now the walk. First SEC start for Will McIntyre. Native of Bryant, Arkansas, went to Bryant High School, a baseball power in Central Arkansas. Good opportunity for Zane Denton. 2 on, 2 out. Lost the bat, flying just above the Razorback dugout as he swings and misses for strike 1.
Wait, nobody came and got it for him. Usually see somebody might pop out, toss it to him so far out in front. Again, I've had that happen before in one of my very few at-bats I got a chance at the next level and just chunked it. It was like, oh, it's the most, to me, it was so embarrassed because I'm like, oh, gosh, pitcher can't hit a lick over here throwing a bat.
So that video the National League was able to use saying, hey, we have to go to the DH now.
Because
look
look
at Cormier in the big leagues trying to swing the bat.
I can tell you the bat I was using, it was a Craig Biggio model. Craig Biggio, obviously Hall of Famer, second baseman. He had no, had no knob on the bottom. So there was no rib, and so I was like, yeah, I like the way it feels. And all of a sudden I threw it. I'm like, I don't like the way it feels anymore.
You know, the knob is there. Chopped to second. Moore ends the inning. Crimson Tide made some noise with 2 outs, but leave 2 men on base, and we're scoreless through 1 inning of play in Tuscaloosa.
I love my new home, but it might be too Victorian.
Gosh, interesting hemline on this. Pounds?
At least Geico makes bundling my home and car insurance easy. I save so much.
Pardon me, Your Grace.
Oh, just call me Grace.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Bring out the Tigers!
Mighty, mighty tiger. Bring out the tiger. You're mighty, mighty tiger. Bring out the tigers. The mighty, mighty tigers. Bring out the
Tigers start their day with a great taste of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, so they can be great! Part of a complete breakfast.
Good time to be out in right field on this Thursday night as we're just getting going. And the first of 3 this weekend between the Crimson Tide and Dave Van Horn's Arkansas Razorbacks led Arkansas to the SEC Championship last year and still fighting out trying to win the SEC West. But this could be a very dangerous team, not only next week in the SEC tournament, but the rest of the way in the NCAA tournament.
You're right, Roger. And I love how he said this guy, McIntyre just gets out. All Dave Van Horn does is just win. I mean, everywhere he's been, he's won. You see 2-time SEC Coach of the Year, but he's also, he was Big 12 Coach of the Year, Southland Conference Coach of the Year. Everywhere he's been a winner.
Good run in Nebraska before he made transition to Fayetteville, starting in 2003 with the Razorbacks.
Well, think of the transitions that he's seen in college baseball, going from Northwestern State in '95 when you're talking the balls were jumping, the bats were as hot as can be, to moving to the -3s, changing the regional format, going back to weird bats and where you couldn't hit a ball out of the infield, it seemed like. I mean, so it's just been something, and he's just adapted and continued to win, continue to bring in top-ranked recruiting classes.
It's a little roller off the bat of Lanzelli, Zane Denton by a step.
Talk about Robert Moore being the guy for Arkansas in defense. That's Zane Denton for Alabama. All-SEC defensive third baseman last year. He's a guy that the range might not be as good as that you might like the best range you've ever seen, but this guy, once he gets the ball in his glove, if he swallows it up, he's making a strong throw.
Denton's hitting under 200 in SEC play, but Coach Bohannon said he's not carried his struggles at the plate onto the field.
And then that's the mark of a player, like a good player that you want to see, not out there pouting because he's not getting hits and everybody's seeing his average. Just go out there because you got to leave your bat there because you got to go out there and be the hardest worker for your pitcher.
Brady Slavin to the plate for the Razorbacks. 13 home runs this season. Right into the shift. 2 gone.
Yeah, you have to practice. We talked about that last time, practicing fielding in the shift because the timing is totally different. I mean, when you look at a routine ground ball like that to Bryce Eblin, and Slavins is a half a step from beating that out, it just knows you have to charge that ball a little bit more and go out there and get it, because if you wait back on it, you don't know how fast that runner is going to get there.
Braden Webb takes strike 1. Another good fastball by McMillan. Has tried to frame that first strike, but outside from McMillan, who so far has been filling up the strike zone, getting ground ball outs as well as a couple of strikeouts. Spotted it there. 12 homers, a .273 average for Webb. Just off the plate, 2-2.
This is his best bullet so far, 93.
Changeup fouled away. Trying to stick around at 2-2. That dangerous changeup from McMillan that SEC hitters may see on tape, but still hard that first time up. Trying to time it up.
Yeah, you know it's a good pitch. When you can study it, you can do all you want. Until you see it, until you see it come out of the hand. He does such a good job of making it look just like the fastball.
2-2 again. Weekly fouled away again. Now full count. Webb is tied for the team lead in walks with 32. Payoff pitch. Rolled to shortstop. Inning over. 3 ground ball outs induced by Garrett McMillan. 6 up, 6 down so far against Arkansas.
Meet Renee, bank manager and mother. But when she gets on her bike, she becomes Rebel Renee. Rebel Renee isn't about greasing some palms to get things done. And she rides with Geico because she'd never rebel against great service. Geico, savings and service for both your sides.
Bring out the Tigers!
Mighty, mighty tiger. Bring out the tiger. You're mighty, mighty tiger. Bring out the tigers. You're mighty, mighty tigers. Bring out the
Tigers start their day with a great taste of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, so they can be great! Part of a complete breakfast.
Welcome back to Sewell Thomas Stadium. We are scoreless, headed into the bottom of the second. Well, last weekend was a big weekend as Arkansas was one of 5 top 10 teams to lose, along with Oregon State, Oklahoma State, Miami, and Louisville. So this is just another big reason why Arkansas really needs to win this series here this weekend.
Thank you, Kira. Yeah, Vanderbilt got the victory, and Vanderbilt's a team that's really improving. They have had a tough go of it early in conference play, but the Commodores, Tim Corbin's team, keeps getting better and better as the year goes along.
And the mark of a good coach, you know, continues to believe in his players. The players believe in the coaching staff, believe what they're doing. You get hot at the right time. You know, you can forget about those midseason struggles. That's what winning at the end all of a sudden allows you to do. But right there, Florida State, Miami, that was an unbelievable series. You know, you think you're going to get an amazing pitching performance early on Florida State by Parker Messick and Carson Palmquist. Didn't really see that, but all of a sudden Florida State comes out, wins the bottom 2. But how about Virginia Tech, too? All the way up to number 3 in the country. That was a big series, number 5 versus number 7, Louisville, Virginia Tech.
Andrew Pinckney leading off this inning for the Crimson Tide. I know you've had the opportunity to call some ACC games this year. Have you liked the parity that you've seen in the ACC?
To me, it's everywhere. But yes, the ACC, to me, SEC has a little bit more parity because when you look at a team like Ole Miss, who was in the bottom cellar, now they just went to Baton Rouge and swept Baton Rouge. You know, look at that. That's a great job right there, hustling for Andrew Pinckney. You don't have that necessarily. You know, Boston College is near the bottom. Here are a couple of teams that, yes, they can. You know, a lot of those teams can either do one of the 3 things. They can hit. They can't necessarily pitch. This is Andrew Pinckney's game too. Guy's got all the tools out of the box. It's a big hop. Jalen Battle's unbelievable shortstop. Really good arm. But to me, once that ball right off the hop, too big of a hop. No chance you're going to get Pinckney.
Infield single for Pinckney, who's been leading Alabama with the .333 average in conference play. Sets it up well for Jim Jarvis, especially if Alabama wants to bunt. He'll swing away instead. Base hit. Pinckney will stop at third on the single by Jim Jarvis. Solid hitting.
Want to see how aggressive Coach Bohannon, when you got nothing to lose, right? You're just trying to get a couple wins. You don't know what the regionals are going to look like. If you even have a shot, throw the hit and run on. First base runner you get, put a little hit and run on. All of a sudden, Jim Jarvis does exactly what you want to do. Shoots that ball the other way. First to third, now you got something going with nobody out.
Brad Bohannon, now in his 5th season as Alabama's head coach, got the Tide back to the SEC tournament a year ago, as well as to a regional. Now Tommy Seidel takes strike one after showing bunt.
You know, those are the things that you can do. Hit and run, maybe a safety squeeze. I know Auburn did that last week as well successfully. But when you get guys on base that can run and guys that can handle the bat like Jim Jarvis, like Tommy Seidel, then you can open up, you know, the playbook a little bit more, maybe give some signs, be creative.
Count even still. Ball and a strike to the Harvard transfer. Tommy Seidel, a senior out of Wellesley, Massachusetts, and he's starting to heat up a little bit. 4 for his last 9 with a home run. Also 2 runs batted in the last 5 games he's played. That includes 3 starts. Great opportunity with 2 on, nobody out. Chopped high for a base hit. Alabama strikes first. Pinckney scores. Jarvis to third, and Tommy Seidel gets it done. 1-0 Crimson Tide.
What, 2 hits this inning, 2 big-time Baltimore chops. You know, might have to give the ground crew a little bit more cash. You know, tip the ground crew right there. You could see Wallace right there. That ball, right when it popped, he's like, oh, I got no shot. That's a surefire double for Tommy Seidel. Guy hustling out of the box. Bama's got something going. 1 in, 2 other guys in scoring position.
Over Will McIntyre now in a tricky spot. 2 in scoring position, nobody out, and that's why we're seeing Matt Hobbs, the pitching coach, out to speak with him. Also, the Razorbacks maybe getting the bullpen ready to go in case McIntyre runs into any more trouble.
When you know, both teams know, like, there's the urgency to both teams because Bama obviously knows they need a win just to continue to make sure they're going to get to Hoover. But there's still an outside shot. You know, you win a lot of the games in front of you, you're playing high RPI teams, you're going to start moving up. Arkansas the same way. They know they need to keep winning if they want a chance to obviously continue to host, but also have the opportunity to move up into one of the top 8 seeds. In that way, that would assure them hosting regionals, and if they won that, super regionals as well, which nobody wants to go to Fayetteville, Arkansas for a 3-game set. You know, they'd have 12,000 screaming Hog fans.
Hog pen really rowdy.
Oh, calling the Hogs. One of the coolest atmospheres you can be in college baseball. If you ever get a chance, that's one of those bucket list places.
Bryce Eblin takes in the dirt for ball 1. Hitting 9th in the order tonight, Eblin hitting .248 for the Crimson Tide. Tough go of it for him lately, just 1 for his last 17. Smacks that foul, 1-1.
Makes it a lot easier to hit. You got Peyton Stovall, first baseman. He is playing in, so they're trying to. You got in on the corners, trying to cut off that run. You bring a lefty, you know, that cuts off the angle. It's easier to pull a ball down the line, especially he's also playing off the line a little bit.
McIntyre in front, 1-2.
You know, just right here too, the way McIntyre throws, if you're thinking cutter, it's just going into you. So this is, you almost kind of sometimes have to sell out and go like, I'm going to try to keep those hands. I'm going to get them out front the way I can catch that ball before it starts breaking in. And that way you can keep it fair.
The 1-2. High down the left field line. Wallace over in foul ground, reaches for it, cannot make the grab.
That ball had some English on it. It just kept going that way. I thought that was going to be almost an easy. out for Wallace, just not having to go very far. It just kept carrying on him. But you know Coach Van Horn not wanting to see him jump up onto the stands, hit those iron poles. It's like, all right, man, just, you know, live to fight another day. We don't need you getting hurt. Love the effort, though.
Missed in the dirt. First out of the inning. Crimson Tide trying to make sure they are in next week's SEC tournament, a half game in front of Kentucky due to Sunday's final game in Auburn being canceled due to the weather.
Yeah, and that was a tough situation. Coach Bo talked about that in his call. He's like, you know, he hated the fact that they didn't get a chance to play that, you know, but he's glad that it was a 1-1 game. And not, you know, if one team would have been up really big, it would have been really tough because Auburn right now is penciled in as a number 5 seed in the country. So another win would, you know, almost lock them in there. But a win for Alabama would have helped them move up a little bit. But still, that game last year helped them out a little bit, and it might help them out again.
Yeah, the finale.
They lost one last year at Vanderbilt, right?
Vanderbilt, the Sunday game there. And all 4 of these teams have really tough series. Alabama, of course, with Arkansas. Kentucky's hosting Auburn. Mississippi State against Tennessee in Starkville. And then also Missouri playing a good Georgia team.
Well, Kentucky, to me, though, is the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. The only team right now to beat Tennessee in a series. They beat Georgia in a series early on when Georgia was rolling. So it's like you don't know which Kentucky team you're going to get.
Fly out to left last time up for Caden Rose. Just low with the breaking ball, 2-1.
Yeah, that's close. You can. That's one of those pivotal pitches. You can lay off that, and he doesn't get the call. That makes that you go from a 1-1 to a 2-1 instead of a 1-2. Such a better, you know, much better hitting count that you can be in. But you got to be able to lay off that pitch.
McIntyre gets a big swing and a miss for strike 2.
Yeah, Will McIntyre's the guy. He's not going to give in. So he's going to throw his pitch. You lay off of the one right before that. I'm going to throw it again and make you lay off of it twice.
Two. Base hit to left. Jarvis scores. Stop sign put on Seidel. Caden Rose RBI single. It's 2-0 Alabama.
Well, this is why you're seeing Caden Rose get moved up into the top of the order. The guy's hot, and that's a good pitch. Look at him go out and get it, though. Sell out. Throw the butt out there, but look, push the barrel to the ball. Good things will happen. Jarvis scores. You got Tommy Seidel getting to third base, being right at the left fielder Gregory, and hit hard. Coach Bohannon smartly holds him up. But still, Bama with 1 out, 2 guys on.
Amateur struck out his first time up. Pops up the bunt for strike 1. Amateur's had battle injuries all season long. Broken bone in his left foot that happened in the second game of the Texas series to round out February. Missed all of March, but came back first weekend of April against Texas A&M. Skies this high to right. Lenzilli, down number 2. Seidel is running. He'll put on the brakes and get back to third, but heads up base running for Caden Rose, advancing to second. So a fly out to right for Hampeter for out number 2, but it's still good. Caden Rose gets that extra 90 feet.
Yeah, and that's big situation right there. The reason that's a smart play is because if he takes off and you bait the guy to cut off the ball to get you out, the way Tommy Seidel's going on a hard break, that's what you're doing that for. So maybe he'll cut off the ball, let Seidel go. Seidel sees it in there, he pulls back, Caden Rose gets that easy. Now it lets two men be in scoring position with 2 outs and your number 3 hitter, which you expect. Hey, Drew Williamson's a guy hitting 2 outs, hitting .407 this year.
Got it done with 2 outs in the first inning with a single.
You look at some of his peripheral numbers. Runners on, 330. Runners in scoring position, 377. 2 outs, 407. Guy gets it done in the biggest parts of the game.
Cole Ramage getting loose in the Razorback bullpen in the bottom of the second with Crimson Tide striking for 2 runs against McIntyre. Chipped foul, a ball and a strike to Williamson. Eight home runs on the year for Williamson, including 1 last week against Auburn. 2-run shot at Plainsman Park on Friday night. For somebody that grew up, a big fan of the Auburn Tigers. Mom went there, grandparents went there. Got that offer from Alabama, though, quickly turned to the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I played with a guy, Scott McClanahan. You've done a couple games with him. Actually, you'll have Saturday with him. But, yeah, his whole family was Auburn. His dad played there, and all of a sudden he comes here, and it was like, Dad would wear that Alabama shirt for 4 years, and then he'd take it off and put his Auburn shirt back on.
A 1-2. Called third strike. Frozen with a fastball, and that'll close out the inning. But the Crimson Tide in front thanks to a 2-run bottom of the second.
Yeah, all started with a little hit and run. Jim Jarvis right there gets Pinckney to first and third, and then Tommy Seidel comes up. He's able to get a little Baltimore chop right over third baseman's head. That gets him on the board. Jarvis.
We love our new apartment.
There's too much pressure in the bathroom.
Good luck with the future in-laws tonight.
Don't overthink it.
But don't underthink it.
At least Geico makes bundling our renters and car insurance easy.
Oh, no. Oh, boy.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Bring out the Tigers!
Mighty, mighty tiger. Bring out the tiger. You're mighty, mighty tiger. Bring out the tigers. You're mighty, mighty tigers. Bring out the
Tigers start their day with a great taste of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, so they can be great! Part of a complete breakfast.
Can't do much better than Garrett McMillan has done so far in this game, getting plenty of ground ball outs and strikeouts.
Yeah, he's using the aggressiveness of the Arkansas hitters out of the zone chases with the fastball, and then a lot of weak ground balls, like you mentioned, the 4 ground balls, weakly hit. And a lot of it just getting ahead in the count, staying ahead in the count.
Peyton Stovall leading off this inning. Launches that deep but foul down the right field line. Picked as the preseason SEC Freshman of the Year by both D1 Baseball and Baseball Americas. Hit .263. McMillan in front, 1-2. He was a projected first-round pick in the draft before he withdrew his name in order to attend Arkansas. Didn't miss by much, 2-2. Straightaway center. Rhodes for the first out. Stovall retired. Jalen Battles due up to the plate next, and with more on him, we'll check in once again with Kira Goldstein.
Guys, Jalen Battles is the first Arkansas player in 24 seasons to be wearing the number 2. It has historically been worn by head coach Dave Van Horn, and he got the jersey kind of as a joke. It was banter based on discussion around him going to the draft, and coach said, hey, I know Derek Jeter is your favorite player. I know you love the number 2. If you come back for a second season at Arkansas, you can have my jersey. He was kind of kidding. I think he thought Jalen was going to go to the draft, but Jalen held him to his word, and here he is wearing the number 2. He said that getting to wear that jersey from Coach Van Horn was incredibly special. He said having the right jersey number makes me feel more comfortable, and he feels like this is the right jersey number for him.
Thank you, Kira. A really great story of Dave Van Horn and Julian Battles, and he's really lived up to getting to wear that number 2. There are just certain baseball positions that are kind of linked to a jersey number. You think of number 17 in first base, number 2 in shortstop, right there as well.
Well, I mean, and when you look at it, like, he looks every bit like a Derek Jeter in the mold of, 6'3", 6'2", 3', 6'4", shortstop, athletic looking. So, I mean, heck, head Coach Van Horn wears a pullover anyway, right? So no one even knew what number Coach Van Horn was.
Coach Van Horn now listed on the roster as number 21, so he's still got the 2 on there.
Very enticing, though. Is that all you have to do? See, like the pullover just covers it up. You're like, I'm still number 2 in my heart. But I like that. A coach would give up his uniform number. The guy coming back.
Good pitch by McMillan. To right field. 8 in a row set down by McMillan. Battles lining out.
That's really the first ball that's been hit hard off the barrel right at a guy. But so Garrett McMillan's been really good. And to me, that at bat, it was that 1-1 pitch, the nice get me over breaking ball, got him into a 1-2 count. And you saw a defensive swing by Battles.
And at times, McMillan has struggled in the first inning, the first couple innings, first time through the order against some hitters, and then usually settles in after that. What does it say that he's been this sharp early on against Arkansas?
Well, that's something Coach Jason Jackson, the pitching coach for Alabama, they were working on, trying to throw an inning or so, to multiple hitters and maybe go through the first 3 or 4 hitters in the lineup in the bullpen. That's something that John Smoltz told me he struggled with early on in his career that he had to do. And really, because then all of a sudden, like, a lot of times starters, we were trying to get to the 7th, the 8th. Like nowadays, if you can get through 5, so you can be a little tired coming into the game if that makes you a little bit more sharp.
Ball and a strike on Zach Gregory, the left fielder. Gregory trying to work the count. He's the team leader in on-base percentage this season for the Razorbacks at .460. He's also hit some homers, 5 long balls on the year. Solid hitter to have in the 9th spot of the order. Two count. Low fastball from McMillan. The 2-2. Little high, full count. Also, the throw got away from McMillan from Temez.
Little high on the pitch, little left on the throw.
Got him looking. 9 in a row set down by Garrett McMillan in 3 perfect innings. It's been interesting this year for Arkansas. The Razorbacks currently ranked 7th in the country in the D1Baseball.com poll, but the RPI has Arkansas ranked 24th. So Lance Cormier, with that in mind, when getting ready to host regionals or possibly host super regionals, what's the NCAA committee going to look at more, the RPI or some of the rankings and some of the wins Arkansas has had this year?
I think you hate to say it, it's probably more the RPI, and so that's why I think you're talking they need to win not only a series, but for them to move up to the top 8, they need to almost sweep, and then they need to go to Hoover, as you know, they get the first round bye, so they're going to get a team that's already played one game. Depending on how many pitchers they had to use on a Tuesday, a quick turnaround. So that could help them out. But they need a couple more wins. I'd probably say they need 4 more wins. Whether it's 2 here and 2 in Hoover, or 3 here, 1 in Hoover, to be able to move up into that 8 seed. And they're going to need some help with other teams losing. But a lot of that is, and you look at some of those things, it's just the schedule is who it is, and other teams that are on your schedule, you can't control how good they are when they're not playing you. And that's the tough part. I mean, I've had UConn this year, and that's a really good ball club. But they're playing in the Big East, and the Big East is not a good conference overall, and so their RPI takes a big hit if they lose any kind of conference game.
First pitch ground out for Temez. Now Zane Denton, who had a ground out to second his first time up. McIntyre gets in front of Denton, and this is a huge opportunity for him to have a bounce-back inning after the bullpen was going with Cole Ramage. Well, 2 runs on 4 hits to the Crimson Tide. Just foul for Denton. That's kind of, if that goes fair, that would be something he really needs.
Yeah, that's one of those, you can see Coach Bohannon just keep squatting as the ball's going down. And you just want to see it happen. Yeah, you want to see it happen for Zane Denton as much as anybody, just the struggles that he's gone through. But yeah, off the bat, it was like, it just stayed up in the air too long. If it wasn't as high of a line drive, it didn't give the option to stay fair.
McIntyre's 1-2. Definitely foul this time. Two and 2 to Denton. Denton fighting against McIntyre. Denton works into a full count, a high fastball from McIntyre. Base hit to right. Moore did everything he could to try and stab that liner, but Denton's aboard.
For Zane Denton, that's the one you'd rather. So you're kind of glad now, looking back on how it played out, you're glad that one, it fell foul. Okay, cool. Because now I'm able to go ahead and get that barrel to the ball, feel better about myself.
Now a great opportunity for Andrew Pinckney, who singled his last time up.
1-1.
Again, this showcases all of Andrew Pinckney. The guy's a 5-tool player. He's got pop. He's able to go dead central. Not many balls leave the yard dead central. He goes off the wall there, and then look right here. The speed. We already saw the speed in the first inning on the one to Battles, or second inning it was. And then early on this year, he hit a absolute missile dead center off of Hunter Barco, the Florida ace, future first-round pick. And to me, that's going to be his game. He's a guy that wants to go away, right field, center field. But the moment he starts dropping the head and getting some pull side power, you're going to see a lot of those numbers, especially the home runs, jump up. And you listen to Coach Bohannon, he talks about the story of this year has been Andrew Pinckney, just how much he has developed and overcome. And a lot of it for me is not chasing. He's got a much better eye at the plate, and that all starts with getting more consistent at bats, feeling better in the box.
Takes the high strike on the slider. Conference play leading the way for the Crimson Tide. 12 doubles, a .333 average. Just picked up a hit earlier on an infield single. Three balls and a strike. Three and two.
That's a good pitch. I mean, that's what a cutter does for you. 3-1. You got a guy thinking, all right, I'm about to get a nice fastball. I'm going to get the head of the bat out, drive this ball into the gap. It looks like a fastball away, and all of a sudden, the last second, about 4 inches off the bat, and there you go, swing and miss.
Then at first with one out. Quick check of him, and he's back in safely. Payoff pitch. Inside fastballs popped up into the crowd.
My man, little man was a little nervous. He thought about getting under it, and then he made a better decision. But guess what? You don't get under it, you're not getting that souvenir. That's why you got to bring the glove, Raj. I mean,
every time, right?
Kids have stopped bringing it. I don't know what the age is. I'm trying to think of what the age, like where you're like, all right, it's not cool enough to bring the mitt to the field.
He's ready. I start bringing the glove when I start keeping score.
Okay.
Now, not too many kids keep score.
No.
I was different from the
start.
So
once you transferred from player to scorekeeper, you're like, all right, here we go.
Pinckney works the walk. Quick chat with Moore and McIntyre trying to get through this third inning. Jarvis came through with a single last time up to left center. Everyday shortstop for the Crimson Tide once again this season. Had been hitting in the top spot of the order for the majority of the year, at least 2 months. Now batting 7th, helping to turn the lineup over again and also get on base for Tommy Steidel and Bryce Eblin. They ran inside to even the count. Cole Ramage once again warming up for the Razorbacks just like he did an inning ago when Alabama scored 2 runs.
Yeah, this is a spot where you're thinking one more base runner, you got to go to him, because now he was hot and continuing to throw that last inning. He was able to sit down, but now you're talking about you got to get a guy in there throwing that much in the bullpen, because you think about that, those are kind of the hidden pitches. He's almost an inning, maybe an inning plus deep already, so especially early in the game, you're going to try to stretch him out. Well, how long can he go? It's not about how many innings he throws out here. He also is throwing an inning and maybe an inning plus in the bullpen. A little arm care maintenance right there, Raj.
Jarvis puts it in play to second. Moore battles to Stovall, and the double play will close out the inning as McIntyre escapes the jam. Garrett McMillan off to a good start tonight against the Arkansas Razorbacks at Sewell Thomas Stadium, a stadium where he's been very comfortable. He's been coming here all his life. For more on that, we check in with Garrett.
Garrett McMillan, the junior pitcher, has been a Tuscaloosa native his entire life. He went to Hillcrest High School, and he has nothing but love. Let's take a look at this picture. He and his grandpa coming to games. He has been coming here his whole life, and he said many times that it is such an honor to get to play for the team that he has loved since his childhood.
At the Joe for a midweek game. And you got to be a true fan. That's probably the second week of the season, probably, against, an in-state team, fighting out the cold, 50-degree weather. Loved every second of it. Enjoyed getting to meet his grandfather, and he shared that photo with us over the past weekend.
Roger,
ball is flying out.
Little kids don't get cold. Because the whole part is, did he sit down and watch the game, or was he running around the Joe?
It looked like he was locked in on that photo.
Yeah, but that's like, you'll see. The kids, that's for like two outs, and then he's back out, and then back under the blanket, back out. But yeah, there's some early on. They're getting some cold days and cold nights here at the Joe.
Yeah, that photo is again from 2008. Now in 2022, he has been the ace of this Crimson Tide staff all season long, and again, off to a really good start tonight after typically gives up a run or two maybe early in the game, settles in after that, but it's been the opposite tonight.
When you say 2008, Raj, that means I'm really old.
I'm starting to feel that way as well.
I was hoping you would say, hey, that's like a 2001. I'm like, maybe. No, 2008. Wow.
I was a sophomore in college at least. You hate me even more.
Yeah. 6 years out.
Turner had a ground out second, his first time up. What a fastball. Jim Jarvis. 2 gone. Two away for Robert Moore. Lines it, just foul. Numbers maybe not where Robert Moore wants, but Dave Van Horn told us earlier he is not worried about his second baseman at all. Some big postseason at-bats are coming up for him. Bounced right to Williamson. Inning over. Another solid work by Garrett McMillan, and it's still 2-0 Crimson Tide. Crimson Tide this season 27-24, just 3 games over 500. But you look at the one-run losses. Alabama tied for most in the nation, 12 on the year, along with George Mason, Nebraska, St. Thomas, and UMBC.
Yeah, Roger, when you look at it, I think 7 of those are in conference play. And so when you talk about one pitch, one play, a big hit, maybe making the pitch instead of giving up the double, like if you did that in 7 games and just think maybe 4 of those are in conference play, you're in the mix of not just making like the regional, you might be hosting, and that's how close it is. And so Alabama's not far off. It's just been parts of the year where guys that they expected to be, major contributors have not produced as well. So if you had guys like Pinckney and Rose having the year they have with a guy like Denton who, you expected possibly to be a little bit better than last year, put up better numbers, then you might be in that situation. You also talk about a guy like Connor Prelip and the injuries that have happened to not only the pitching staff, guys that have been just down all year. You haven't had the full arsenal of pitchers, so it's just been tough for Coach Bohannon and staff.
And he's still really staying upbeat with this team, and even Drew Williamson said earlier in the week, he was like, I like the fact that we have everything still within our reach. Still get this 3-game series against Arkansas, make as much noise as you can, and then you get to Hoover. Anything can happen after that.
Well, and that's true. I mean, you don't want to go into the last weekend of the season knowing there's nothing to play for. So there still is some things to play for because you can catch fire at the right time, roll through this weekend, get a couple wins in Hoover, and all of a sudden you're hot, and that's what the committee sees. You're beating teams with higher RPIs than you, most likely, and so then all of a sudden you continue to move up.
Last year, the Crimson Tide had 12 wins in conference play, made it to Hoover, picked up a couple of victories against South Carolina and Tennessee, which was a huge win. Eventually lost the next 2 games to Florida and Tennessee, but just by playing those teams again helped boost that RPI. Then the Crimson Tide were placed in the Ruston Regional.
Yeah, and I think they were one of the last 4 in, but the RPI going into Hoover was a lot higher than it is this year, and a lot of that is midweek losses to UT Martin, North Alabama, UAB twice, so that kind of stuff will really zap that RPI.
McIntyre in a good groove now. Got that double play ball to close out the 3rd inning. Now he's gotten the first 2 outs on the ground here in the 4th. Top of the order, back to the plate with Caden Rhodes. He made it a 2-0 game in the 2nd with an RBI single. Late there on the cutter, 1-1. 12 games in a row now getting on base for Caden Rhodes. Past Wallace, all the way to the wall. Caden Rhodes with a 2-out double.
Boy, Roger, that ball was torched. Caden Wallace is lucky he was able to get out of the way. You know, they call it the hot corner for a reason. He's down. That ball takes a hop right at his face. Boy, just lucky enough to get out of the way. Caden Rhodes stays hot, though.
2 for 3 already tonight.
I think that first at-bat 2, he popped up to the left field, but he still hit the ball well. Just got under it, skied it up there, but still got a good part of the bat on it.
Hamiter with 2 outs. Strikeout in the 1st, flight out to right field, back in the 2nd inning. To left, late break for Gregory, and this drops in. Rose scores. RBI single for William Hamiter. 3-0 Alabama.
Raj, no one says you have to hit it hard, right hard. You just got to hit it where they're not. Right there, William Hamiter just inside outs that ball, just enough of it. And that's what a 2-out double from Caden Rhodes does. Gets Alabama on the board again. Now up 3-0, but back-to-back 2-out hits.
Drew Williamson. Struck out looking his last time up. That closed out the 2-run 2nd. Before that, had a 2-out single. Made some noise in the 1st inning for the Crimson Tide. He's been hitting well in conference play, over 300. And slugging extremely well, 497. Slugs it high and deep, but foul. Waved and missed there, 1-2.
Nice pitch right there. You have him thinking in. You know, when you get a guy to hook a ball like that, sometimes with the cutter, you know you can throw it inside to a lefty, and at best they can do is crush one foul. And all it does is get you a strike. And then he goes to the other side of the plate. And so he has Drew Williamson thinking, open up a little bit. And that's why you see his back foot leave as he swings on a pitch away.
Two. Swing and a miss, strike three. Got him with a good fastball, and that'll close out the inning, but some two-out noise for the Crimson Tide, thanks to an RBI single by Hamiter to make it 3-0.
We love our house. Been here for years.
Yeah, but there's an animal in the attic. At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
We save a lot.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Attention, please. Millions of AT&T and Verizon customers are suffering from unexpected price hikes and economic adjustment charges. But there is a solution. Right now, when you switch your family to T-Mobile Magenta Max, you can get up to $1,000. And you'll get T-Mobile's price lock guarantee. They won't raise the rates of your rate plan ever, because you are entitled to more.
If you've been impacted, act now. You may be eligible to receive up to $1,000 from T-Mobile.
And you should listen to me. I'm a British actor.
Crimson Tide, through 4 innings, have a 3-0 lead against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Roger and Lance from the press box, now joined in the Crimson Tide dugout by the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Brad Bohannon. And Coach Bo, so far so good for Garrett McMillan on the mound. What are you seeing from your right-hander?
Yeah, you know, he's done a good job of, scattering some hits and pitching through some traffic and throwing all of his pitches for a strike. So hopefully he can keep doing that.
Well, Coach, I want to talk about Caden Rose. I mean, he's been in and out of the lineup all year and still stayed consistent. That's hard to do, especially with a young ball player. But what have you seen as of late? And obviously you've seen a lot because you moved him to the #1 hole.
Yeah, Caden's played really well the last 3 or 4 weeks or so. I think, the bright spots offensively are him and Andrew Pinckney. I think maybe 4 weeks ago it just kind of clicked for both of them. And, they're both seeing those breaking balls better, and they're doing a better job of laying off those pitches out of the strike zone. And it sounds so simple because guys like you were really good at making your balls look like strikes and your strikes look like balls. But, they're getting better at, with their pitch recognition, and they're getting more hits to show for it.
Coach Bo, we'll let you go back to work. Thank you for joining us.
All right, thanks, guys.
Brad Bohannon, the 5th-year head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Game respects game. Looking at the game of Lance Cormier.
Well, I think he's exactly right. I mean, I mentioned that about Pinckney, but Caden Rose is the same thing. As young guys, especially their freshman years, I mean, the slider away was a killer pitch to both of those guys, and they're doing a much better job, just like he said, laying off of it. And the first hit from Caden Rose was one of those balls down and away slider that he went out and got. And so they're making that adjustment. And a lot of it just comes with consistent plate appearances where they know they're going to be in the lineup.
First hit of the game for the Razorbacks, a single by Chris Lanzilli to lead off the top of the 5th. That was after the first 4 innings were perfect from Garrett McMillan.
Again, but you can see Dominic Temez is set up in. That fastball misses out over the middle, and that's what's going to happen. You miss over the middle, especially early in the count, ball's going to get hit hard.
First time from the stretch for McMillan. Brady Slavens. Barreled high to center. Rose all the way back with the grab. Lanzilli retreats to first on a deep fly out by Slavens.
Well, Roger, I think Brady Slavens thought he got that one because as he rounds first base after Caden Rose catches that ball, throws it in there. He's kind of a third of the way to second base, looking out there like, man, what happened? Because I thought I hit that one pretty good. And you're talking about a guy with 13 home runs when he hits one good and he thinks it's good, he knows that feeling pretty often.
Braden Webb's hit 12 this year for the Razorbacks. 8 of them in SEC play.
And that's the part of the Arkansas lineup. You're thinking, all right, you got through the first 4 hitters. Well, wait, you can't breathe because 5 and 6 have their most home runs in 13 and 12.
McMillan falls behind 2-0. It's been an interesting Arkansas lineup this year. Last in the league with a 272 average, still 6th in the league with 77 home runs. Kind of up and down offensively.
Boy, Webb's upset at himself knowing 2-0, you don't get fastballs down the middle. And he was thinking probably something off speed because Garrett McMillan is a guy that he can go backwards, especially when he's behind in the count.
Three stolen bags this year for Lanzilli. Falls behind 3-1. Full count. Back to the fastball.
There's something about his fastball today. He's using it a lot more, especially when he's ahead in the count, so I really like that. But the fastball's got a little bit more juice, more life, getting some swings and misses.
Went back to it. Long run for Pinckney. Right up against the wall, and he got it. Andrew Pinckney. Outstanding effort from the Alabama right fielder.
You're right, Raj. I mean, that's a ball he knows he's going to get hit, and these are huge for pitchers. You make a play like this because not every stadium has enough foul ground. I mean, he catches that ball, and it's the rib cage into the wall. But a nice job of keeping his eye on the ball the whole time, knowing that he's going to hit the wall. He can't look to check it because then he takes his eye off the wall. Man, that's a nice play right there.
Really tricky part of the wall, too, with that one section that's raised above, that padding that's almost at eye level for him.
But I'm telling you, those are the plays that when you're out there on the mound, you see something like that, and you're like, all right, we just stole an out somehow.
Stovall. Fly out to center for him, his first time up. Another check at Lanzilli, who led off the inning with a single. He's had to stay there on flyouts for Slavens and Webb. Two checks in a row. That play was much closer.
Yeah, he had a bigger lead right there, and you could tell McMillan thought the same thing because that move was a little bit quicker, the feet moved faster, the throw was a little bit harder.
Showed bunt, pulled it back, 2-1.
I'd still be really surprised if he ran. You're down 3 runs. If you don't want to take the bat out of his hand, but it's the guy. He only's got 3 bags, so it's not like he's a base runner with 10+ bags looking to steal. You see that bunt moves Zane Denton having to come back to his normal position, just a fake bunt. And also to me, what it does is pulls Garrett McMillan, sorry about that, out of his rhythm. Because he was rolling a fake bunt, and he pulls back, throws a ball, and all of a sudden now he's thinking maybe will he bunt again, another ball.
Hit high and deep into right center field. And gone! Peyton Stovall with a 2-run homer, and that has made it a 1-run game in Tuscaloosa. Fourth homer of the year for Peyton Stovall.
Well, the highly touted freshman right there. He puts himself into a good count, and that's what you do. 3-1, you get the fastball. He doesn't miss it. The head of the bat got out. Didn't know if Pinckney was going to have a shot. Got turned around a little bit, but nice job right there by Peyton Stovall. Big answer back for Arkansas.
Jalen Battles takes a curveball for ball 1.
That's Arkansas's first 2-out hit, and it was a big one.
Held off the base path's first 4 innings. This ball goes just foul. 1-1.
Starting to see the breaking ball up a little bit more. Now, a lot of it to me is rushing a little bit, lost his mechanics. The front side's flying open just a hair. You'd want to see him slow down just a little bit to be able to finish that pitch.
Another one to deep right center for a base hit up against the wall. 2-out single for Battles.
Well, if you're wondering, why is that a 2-out single? He put one hop the wall in the right center field gap. He trips and falls after his swing, takes a hack, and you see him right there. Spins over, trips and falls, gets up, tries to hustle back, but Pinckney does a nice job of getting that ball in. Tough position, keeps the runner out of scoring position, so I wouldn't be surprised now if you get a guy like this tries to steal second base to get into scoring position.
Zach Gregory at the plate, struck out looking his first time up. Foul tip for a strike to even the count on a fastball. Gets in front. Chance for McMillan to end the inning.
That's a much better breaking ball. That looks like he stakes. Anytime that front shoulder, which is glove side, it starts flying open. If it opens up too early, the arm is not in a position to throw. And especially if it's a breaking ball, usually you're going to leave it up and in to the right-handed hitters or up and away to a left-hander. And a lot of times that's the most common mechanical flaw, I think, in all pitchers, and it can be from batter to batter, inning to inning, or really game to game, when it comes up. And a lot of times it's hard to feel it. You need somebody else to help you spot it.
The 1-2. Runner goes. That's off the plate for ball 2. No throw by Temez. Second stolen bag of the year for Jalen Battles.
That was a nice job. It was a delayed steal, and I really felt like that was a position for him to run. Just to get into scoring position well, especially for another hitter. Watch, takes a good secondary lead, and then all of a sudden takes off after his second hop. Temez wasn't ready to throw.
The 2-2. Full count. Gregory can really turn the lineup over. Team leader in on-base percentage coming into tonight. He's drawn 28 walks this year.
Put that with 11 hit by pitches as well.
Draws the walk. 2 on with 2 outs, and now the top of the order back to the plate. Caden Wallace due up next, but the Crimson Tide going to talk things over on the mound as McMillan, who had been perfect through the first 4 innings, now laboring here in the 5th, already giving up 2 runs. Calling the Hogs in Tuscaloosa.
That's a good showing right there. This is a very tradition-rich program, going to travel really well. I wonder if these fans are making the trek here and just going to continue on to Hoover.
Not a bad idea, as Brock Guffey, who is a native of Hoover,